Hey everybody, we are back and we made it. The recovery is fast and we're going to go through a whole bunch of charts today and cover all the Bitcoin news that's going down. So amazing time. Market cap is back at 2.1 trillion. Bitcoin dominance is still kind of high, 56%. Fear and greed is at extreme fear again of 20. And let's jump into all of the data and find out exactly what's going on in the market. Make sure things are working here. Evening, by the way, thank you to mods in the chat, Sean Donnelly, TNT Tesla, K8, and everybody else. Let's see if it's actually playing. I don't even know, but I'm going to go truck along anyway. This is not financial advice, as we all know. Into all of the data and find it. Just a guy on the internet, of course. And shout out as well to Patreon, who make this possible every single day. My commitment to you all and the whole team behind me, behind this big curtain, from Dashel Rodriguez says, proud new member of Patreon, best content on YouTube by a lot. Very humbled. Thank you so much. Let's go. Let's check out where we are right now in terms of Bitcoin monthly returns. We are still down 7% for the month of August. But guess what just went up? $4,500 in a matter of a few hours. That is Bitcoin. The rebound is hard, but we have a long hill to climb. And let's jump into some of the news first and then get into some very interesting charts and very interesting signals too. News first. First of all, risk happens fast, as I always say. Up $4,550 so far today. That's 8.26%. Tell me how a more than $1 trillion asset can move up and down so fast. That's the volatility of this beast. If your stomach is not ready for it, you shouldn't be in the game. But where else can you enjoy such dip buying opportunities? I don't know. Fear and greed, it is. Still at 20, so people are still very nervous. But I bet you that'll be 36 or 40 tomorrow. Mark my words. And this is the last TradFi Greenlight for everybody FOMOing in to the Bitcoin ETFs. This is from CNBC. This is Bryn, and a lot of people look up to Bryn. And this is the last taboo with Morgan Stanley giving their wealth advisors the green light to allocate to Bitcoin ETFs. Is just a matter of time before it gains traction. And Bryn added iShares Bitcoin Trust to her bag, to her positions. Some people believe very much in this. So there we are. Mission accomplished. The next 6 months will be good. There's been so much talk, so much ridiculous. It's like stuff happens and people get so fearful so fast. And then everybody's talking about, oh, the bull market's over. We're back in the bear now for the next 3 years. It's like such nonsense. So when you see people that spew BS, delete them from your lives. Block them, because that's not healthy. There's a time to be bearish, but this is not it. Let's talk about some old news being new news again. Michael Saylor was on an interview and he disclosed his bag, but we knew his bag from years ago. I track all the big players, all the big bags in a massive spreadsheet. And I think he tweeted like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, how much Bitcoin he held. But he has 17,700 Bitcoin at 9,882 average price. Well done to him. Well done indeed. And that's over $1.02 billion in his personal bag. He also has a very large shareholding in MicroStrategy as well, which would add, I reckon, at least 25% of 240,000 Bitcoin. So he is definitely all in on Bitcoin. He's also a very shrewd man. Also, by the way, quick reminder, follow clever people who have actually made it, not basement dwellers that don't know what they're talking about. That's a very good indicator too. All right, let's move on to some more news. Tom Lee was also in another interview. Big fan of his work. He said a couple of very profound things about crypto and Bitcoin, which I thought was worth repeating. He has been bullish on crypto since 2017. His research team has been looking at network effects, i.e. Metcalfe's law, for a long time. And he still sees Bitcoin reaching $100,000 or more by year-end 2024. That's not too far away, ladies and gentlemen, a little over 4 months. And he is still confident that this can happen. Now, by the way, when you see an asset move up 8 or 9% in a few hours, it's not beyond the realm of feasibility that I can do this. And I've always talked about the 10 best days of the year. He talks about it too. All it takes is it doesn't even take 10 best days to get to 100K. So again, risk happens fast. Buckle in. No promises we'll get there. Tom Lee is very confident we will, but he also sees some other stuff. He sees Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana as the core crypto assets. We disagree a little bit there. And he believes blockchain will be where financial innovation takes place going forward. I definitely believe in that. Definitely. The future of exchanges, stock exchanges, will be run on a blockchain. The old infrastructure just simply doesn't work. All old stuff often does not work. Now, another big breaking news too. Putin legalizes Bitcoin mining in Russia. Only for Russian legal entities and registered individual entrepreneurs can mine Bitcoin, and individuals under the government set energy limits without registration. Something I don't quite understand what that means. I have a funny feeling anybody can mine Bitcoin as long as they don't exceed certain energy consumption. Not sure, but it's now possible to mine Bitcoin. And speaking of mining Bitcoin, this is interesting. You remove China from Archie, Bitcoin Archive. Russia just legalized Bitcoin mining. What are you going to do, China? Now, the reality is when people talk about this, China already mine a truckload of Bitcoin. In fact, all of the major mining pools are Chinese. Now, this does not mean that they are based in China, although many of them, I bet you they are. But this is from Ki Jung-yu, and he says Russia is keeping up with the US nation-level Bitcoin FOMO, and this will boost the hash rate. But if you look at this map here, you can see Chinese mining pools control 57% of the Bitcoin hash rate, while the US only has 35%. Yes, the biggest public Bitcoin miners, publicly traded Bitcoin miners, are all American, but there's a lot of Bitcoin mining that happens behind the scenes. 2/3 of it, in fact, are kind of stealthy operations. So we'll see. Anyway, it's all about game theory. Everybody's going to get into this thing. You can't kill a cockroach. The cockroach is Bitcoin. And speaking of miners and mining, Fred Thiel, he has a very strong belief in Bitcoin as a reserve asset. While he says we're not as big as MicroStrategy, obviously, we have the same underlying beliefs about Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset for treasuries for companies. And the bag for Marathon Mining is now over 20,000 Bitcoin. And they are mining about 700 a month. And now they're not just mining Bitcoin, but they're also going out to market and buying it as well. So very impressive. And they're the biggest public miner. At least they produce the most based on my numbers. And they are hodling and buying more. So when people rely on the miners to bring extra supply to the market, good luck. The only miners that are doing it are the ones that need to pay bills. Those that are with a strong financial position are not doing it. Now, as I want to mention this too, because there's some weird stuff going on. This is from Bitcoin News. Just in, Fed issues enforcement action on pro-crypto customers. Banks, as the White House plans a crypto reset. There's a meeting for the Harris campaign where they are going to try and find a way to get access to the crypto voters. They have figured out that they cannot win. The calculus simply does not work if they turn their back on crypto. They tried to get into the Bitcoin conference. I think it was too late, too much to learn in a short window of time. So they didn't go for it, but now they are still doing it again. But at the same time, the Fed is still clamping down on crypto-friendly banks. So something is kind of wrong somewhere. And don't forget this, all right? This is very important. And again, if you're a fan of Elizabeth Warren, I don't care. I'm a fan of crypto. I don't want an anti-crypto army as a result. So let us not forget, those who do like crypto, that was her whole plan, building an anti-crypto army. I just want to refresh how politicians work. They want the crypto voters and they want the crypto donations. But will they go back to this next year if they get into power? We don't know. We'll see. Anyway, many people are worried about this right now. Let's talk about charts. Some super, super interesting charts. And let's go. This is interesting. First of all, this is what I call the matrix, the box. So the post-halving box is the first red line, vertical red line on the left. And then we have the all-time high price across the top. And then we have the floor price, which we have breached not once, but twice over the past 4 months. We are now 4 months nearly post-halving. And guess what happened? Well, we just had a massive green candle. Again, that $4,500 candle today, telling us, we're back above the floor and we're heading north. Now, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, but I did talk about the CME gap would close pretty rapidly and it would take, $5,000 move to make that happen, to get it back up there. And it looks like we're getting up there pretty quick. So we'll watch this carefully. Let's look at some more charts. This is a couple of on-chain indicators I'm going to go through real fast to show you how oversold we are based on traditional on-chain metrics. First of all, this is the NVTS. This is the network value moving average. It's the daily transaction value on the chain. And it differs from the standard NVT ratio, which is simply the network value divided by the daily transaction value. But if you look at this NVT, the blue line going down, it's on a massive big dip right now. Typically, it probably ties into Metcalfe's law and network effects and everything else. When the chain is very active, the price goes up. When the chain is not very active, the price goes down. Chain is not very active right now, but it will return up, especially as things happen like days like today, drive a lot of excitement. Also, the top and bottom indicator is still yellow. That means it's still time to stack and it is down. We had a brief combo of orange for a minute there because some of the indicators were going haywire with all the move from Mt. Gox. When old wallets get reactivated, it changes some of the on-chain data, but now we're back to yellow, so stacking is still possible. And the Bitcoin Mayor multiple is at the lowest level of the year. It's at 0.96. And remember, if you look at the average, I forgot to add an average line to this chart, but the average Mayor multiple since the creation of Bitcoin is 1.31. And the Mayor multiple has historically been higher than today's value 70% of the time. So this is also a killer entry signal. You buy when these things are down because they will rebound. And when they rebound, price follows them, or they follow price. We're not sure exactly which one's which, but that's just the way things work. And another killer entry signal is the MVRV. And you can see here the MVRV has returned to a ratio of 0.84. This is the exact same level as November, December 2022. And that is the start of the last bullish cycle. That is after the FTX implosion. And this market trough allowed the most patient of investors the biggest opportunity to enter a position. Those that bought at 16K, 15.5, 16.5, killed it. They got a nice little 4X in their bag. Now, this again highlights a point of not only serious investor stress, okay, when it capitulates, but we know what happens after the stress is at a max. Just like when fear is at a max, we rebound. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 killer entry signals here based on on-chain data. Hope you enjoy them. But there's more. This is chart number 6 or 7 so far. This is, again, from Key, around $23 billion worth of Bitcoin, or 405,000 Bitcoin, has moved to permanent holder addresses over the past 30 days. This is what you call accumulation. And this is record high accumulation. Okay? Retail investors are not buying because they are afraid. They are afraid of the German government selling. They're afraid of Mt. Gox dumping, which I said was not going to happen. They were afraid of the macroeconomic poop storm going on. They're afraid of the Fed and labor numbers and everything else. And those in the know, over the last 30 days, stacked 405,000 Bitcoin and stuck them in permanent wallets. Some of that Bitcoin may never ever see the light of day again. So watch this. And time for a little banana zone chart. You guys liked my banana last time. Here's another banana, but this is from Rect Capital. And the easy way to interpret this is, if you look at the vertical lines here, there's two things I want you to focus on. Forget the price chart, you won't know what that is. The vertical lines are the halvings of the past, 2016, May 2020, and of course, April 2024. Then focus on the yellow rings. These are the highlighted circles. And they highlight the moments when Bitcoin experiences notable price action, normally flat, normally choppy, chop solidation, whatever you want to call it. After this yellow circle period of time, guess what happens? If history repeats, if this trend follows the previous trends of 2012, 2016, 2020, they all represent key turning points into the banana zone. So we'll see if this is right. I believe it could hit in September, which is confluent with rate cuts. It's confluent with Morgan Stanley and their 15,000 sales guys leashing on IBIT and FBTC and so much more. All right. The big whales that are moving large amounts of money are front running all of this action. They're getting on the train now while retail is afraid. Don't be afraid. All right. Now, Bitcoin playlist is here. Let's check out the black hole, see what's going on. And thank you as well, Preston. I see you there too. There's a couple of cool things. First of all, well, this kind of scares some of the traditionalists in Bitcoin. They don't want ETFs holding a large bag, but check this out. The ETFs hold nearly 5% of the supply. It's a 4.65%. I think when it gets to about 15 or 20%, then we should be a little bit concerned, but that could take another year or so to happen. I'll be monitoring that very carefully for you all so you don't have to. Let's look at day 144. Back to black. Thanks to Blackrock, by the way. Excuse all that puntastic stuff there. But you can see the net debit out of GBTC is 20.9 million. Everything else is positive. And BlackRock is very positive, 52.5 million. As usual, BlackRock have never had a negative day, and they are stacking. They bought 900 Bitcoin yesterday, maybe 1,000. I can't remember. Whatever. Let me see. 52.5. Yeah, it was 1,000 Bitcoin if the price is 52.5, but it wasn't a little higher. So about 900 Bitcoin. I calculated in my head. Let's look at what the numbers look like, the money flow. It's getting to be a bit of an eye chart. We had a little positive 50 million after 2 negative days. And in the past 20 days or so, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative days. Not too bad. This is the accumulation time. Hey, Piper, thank you for coming. I think we are looking at a very good fall, autumn, whatever you guys call it, wherever you are in the world. Anyway, let's talk about the amount taken out of the system. The consumption yesterday was 805, nearly 2 times daily issuance, which is not bad, but I expect a much bigger day today. The volumes are insane, and the action is insane. The TradFi normies are looking at, oh my God, this Bitcoin thing just went up 8.5%. Why didn't I buy yesterday? So, as usual, they're always day late and $1 short, so they'll buy today after seeing all this action. That's just the way human mentality works. But we're better than that here. So thank you all for coming. Hit the like and the way out if you can. And I'll see you all tomorrow. By the way, I'm doing a Cyber Bulls recording, and that'll be out tomorrow morning too. You'll find that here. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you as well to the mods of the chats and everybody else for coming, and Piper up there in Canada. Good night.